Hi, fellas. Well, welcome back in to another episode of the Higher Up Podcast. We are here for episode 25. That's
Quarter
15 episodes.
of a century.
Yeah,
we have hit
15 episodes with Brady since he joined us.
Has it been 15 already?
Yeah. Because we did 10 with just
right.
Benji and myself,
right.
and then these other, we're at 25 now, so these other 15s are your seat. I'm here for math, okay? Easy math.
You learned that on the last episode.
I know that's not true. I
learned it on Data Drives Decisions. So,
Hey, speaking of data, Adam, we had a couple of folks text in this past week, and one of them, like a comment someone made about the Data Drives Decisions episode, if you haven't listened, but they said data doesn't always keep you from making bad decisions, but it definitely can help you make better decisions. They thought that quote in that episode was really good.
Yeah, I like that.
Here's one to think about, Brady. This is a really good one. Someone else said, does the clock stop when a customer pays? That could apply to any business out there. You know, some people, how do you turn a customer for life? That might be an episode to come in the future.
Yeah,
I think so.
I like it.
Look, from somebody that used to do a lot of your quality assurance, I would say the clock does not stop just because it's over. That's just me.
Well, yeah, I mean, again, hey, you know what?
If you're going to get into it,
that's
it needs to be an episode.
Write that down. Write it down.
How about a little bit of a teaser, okay? Because this is something we've been talking about here recently. There is a difference between sales and marketing.
There is.
Yes.
So we'll keep that on hold, and maybe there's an episode coming out about that at some point in the near future.
Yeah. That would be great to share because we've had many conversations about.
Oh, yeah.
Is that true? So today, just to get into, we are doing part 2 of core values. So you two really spent a lot of time in our last episode setting things up for us, just explaining how you went from having, I think it was close to 20 core values.
It was 22, Adam.
It was 22. Sorry, I knew it was right there.
Yep.
But you went from having 22 core values, and you've really trimmed those down to what you now feel like is, hey, this is who we are. And we talked about how it was a process. It's not an overnight thing. It takes teamwork. It takes your team giving real valuable input to get to that. So what we want to do today is kind of jump into those, and we want to share and let Benji and Brady share with our listeners, what are those core values that you basically honed in on? Like, hey, this is Team Wilson. This is who we are. This is who we believe our customers should see us as, and our team should see us as. So let's dive right into that. If
let's go.
You will share what those new core values are, and then I would love if you would share with our listeners a little bit about a real quick elevator pitch. Why each of those core values?
Yeah. So, and to go back, I mean, we started with 22 several years ago, pared it down to 10, and then, as you guys may have remembered from our last episode, which came out of one of our leadership meetings, is that we took those 10 and came up with 7. And so here are the 7, but before I tell you that, is the old core values that we had were not in order except for number 1.
Yeah.
Okay, and you'll see why here in a minute. Of course, our first core value, new one, is the same pretty much, but these actually follow somewhat of a progression. So our new core values are, number 1, we honor God. Okay,
number one.
That's
and we try to make these just real, and we try to make these just real quick hits, right? Number 2 is people first. Number 3 is extreme ownership. Excuse me. Number 4 is pursue excellence. Number 5 is relentless execution. Number 6, which may sound familiar, is data wins. Okay, it used to be data drives decisions, but now it's data wins. And then number 7 is win as a team. So if we look at each one of those, and I don't want to go into a whole lot of detail. There's a lot of detail behind these. And what we did is we put together a document for our team that says, okay, here's the core value. What does this core value mean? And then how can you live that out every single day?
And too, Brady, the reason why and we'll probably get into this a little bit deeper in the episode, but the reason why they're in this exact order, Adam, is exactly what you said a second ago. Obviously, we've always had honor God or something like that at our number 1, okay? Honor God. But if you think of the life cycle of anything that you do in business, okay? Right after God, it takes people to make this happen in any business. It's still a human element, okay?
Yep.
Even with Tesla, they still have people, not just all robots that do this work, right? So you have to have people.
Yeah.
And then right after people, the people have to have ownership, take extreme ownership with that, whether you're making food, whether you're doing a service business, whether you're at church serving people, own that. And then pursue excellence. After you own that, pursue excellence says, we're going to do this the right way, the right time, every time. And then on top of that, execute that, whatever that might be in your business. And then we're going to look at the data and see if we've done well with all these others, and we're going to celebrate the win. So that's the reason why we kind of put them 1 through 7 in that order.
Yeah, and Benji, I think that's a perfect explanation of what our core values are. And what we want to do is just kind of share. I mean, I don't think we can break down like all 7 of them, but we're each going to share just like what our most favorite one is. And I think to set this up, guys, I mean, obviously, can we just agree that the most favorite is honor God?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean,
yes.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
So I don't know that we need to break that one down. That's pretty self-explanatory. But we are going to put God first in everything that we do, and that's going to lead us through our decision-making of what we do in our organization. But my favorite one happens to be Relentless Execution. Okay? Now, why do I like Relentless Execution? It's because I think a lot of times we can sit around and talk about a lot of things. We can brainstorm. And I'm all about a good brainstorming session, right? But at some point, you have to start getting things done.
Yeah.
Like we can talk about it to death, but we got to start getting things done. And so that's why, and that kind of, and I think we've talked about working genius here before, and that really speaks to my working genius is, with tenacity and galvanization. But, I just like seeing the list and making sure that things are getting done, or leading a project, or making sure that whatever the top objectives of the organization are for the year, I want to make sure that those are being executed. We've quoted a lot of people on this podcast, and one of the guys we've quoted is James Clear, who wrote Atomic Habits.
Mm-hmm.
But he says, look, you don't need more time. You just need to decide.
Yes.
I mean, how much truer is that? You don't need more time. Like a lot of times I think that, and we actually have this embedded in one of our core values with like, how do we live this out, or what does this mean? Is if you guys have ever heard of analysis paralysis, like we can look at the information or look at the data and we can just wait and wait and wait. And at some point you just got to decide. At some point you just have to move forward. And then when you do move forward, then you just, that relentless execution, here's what that means, is that every single day, John Maxwell says that success is found in your daily agenda. Every single day that we are going to decide to make sure that we are executing that day.
Yeah.
Because that's going to feed to the week, and that's going to feed to the month. And, we quote Craig Groeschel a lot on this podcast, and he says, discipline is choosing what you want most over what you want now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so just think about that. Is what do we want? What are we trying to do? What are we trying to decide? And that's the outcome. So we're making decisions today based off of what we're wanting at some point else in time. So, guys, that was my favorite one. I mean, obviously we've got 7. They're all my favorite, but
Right.
I like that one the best. But what do you guys see?
I tell you, mine is win as a team. I mean, we're going to have an episode coming up here in a few weeks about, how to be a better coach. How can we as owners and managers be better coaches? Because I think a lot of times we get caught up in, well, you need to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for your job. And a lot of owners and managers don't do a good job of just, they set the expectation, but they never celebrate with their team when they do have wins. That's the thing I love about our team. Is we have these Google reviews. It makes people feel good when they see their name posted on something that a customer said, man, that you did a great job, whatever that is. Mm-hmm. And I love celebrating those wins. I love encouraging people. I love trying to make sure that they're doing the best they can, and also, rewarding them for whatever that may be after the fact. I love the win as a team is probably my favorite, Brady.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
I mean,
and Adam, you're kind of on the outside, but you were on the inside.
I mean, I am, but I mean, the good thing is still when I come, a couple times a month, I still feel like I'm part of the team, which is great. So I'm
Oh yeah.
still there and get to see it. But mine's people first. I mean, you know
Mm.
me, culture is important to me. I've worked for several different companies. I've worked for some that had really bad culture, like just
Mhm.
really bad. I had a very actually it was funny before I worked with the two of you. I worked for another company that was also a franchise type owned, and it's being on opposite ends of the spectrum, seeing what ownership that is as far from honoring God all the way to where you guys do everything in it. I've experienced that. So for me, it's always been that, but that goes back to my working genius because I'm an IE. I mean, enablement, I derive joy from working with others and doing these things and having team collaboration. That's always important to me. And I want to be a part of that when I do. And I feel that way. That's why I still work with you guys on a monthly basis because I still feel that way. I can tell you at the church, it's like that.
Mm.
And the reason that that's always been so important to me as an employee or anything, it's just because I may have said it on the podcast before, but you're always with these people that you work with
Oh yeah.
almost more
Oh, for
than I
sure.
am than I am my own family.
Yep.
I
It's
mean,
very true.
I have both of you in like my top text messages.
Oh
you
yeah.
All
know,
right.
You
All
got
right.
my
so
favorites list on my phone.
I know because I talk to y'all all the time. And
VIP.
VIP, I have we have a group for the podcast. So it's like I talk to you guys way more than that, and not just the two of you, but the people I work with, because I have to,
Yep.
like you said, Benji, we have to win as a team. And when we have, if we have a negative review come in that we've got to figure out, where did we go wrong, or is there something the customer's missing, or whatever that is, we have to work for those. So for me, win as a team, people first. It's always that for me more than anything. Is just I just want to be a part of something that feels larger
Yep.
and that I enjoy doing every day, right? I mean, Mark Twain
Yep.
said, if you don't enjoy what you're doing, if you enjoy it, you're not working, right? So that's what I've always for me. So
Well, I think Brady too. To Adam's point, I think that our employees, and I know you're going to talk about this in a second, they're buying into what our core values are. I mean, I hear it around the office, and if you look at the order, after we did this, sometimes you look back and you go, "Why did we? Oh, that's why we did that." But if you look at the order, I think by honoring God, then it takes people, then owning doing it with excellence, relentless execution, look at the data, celebrate the wins. It's just a constant cycle, because what
Yep.
that does now is it'll actually help your business recruit other people. If you dive into your core values, whatever they may be, and by the way, you're welcome to use ours, no problem. We'll send you
Feel
if you
feel free to steal them.
yeah, if you want to take a chart, we'll send you a chart. You can put your company logo on it. They'll think you came up. No problem.
yeah.
We'll do it. Whatever we need to do to help you.
I
And go ahead, Adam. Sorry.
I was I think the caveat to that as well is ensuring that the two of you as owners are pushing it the way that you do, right? Like anybody that's listening that is a business owner, we said it on part one, Brady, you talked about you have to live what you're doing so your employees, your staff are seeing it. And I mean,
Yep.
you shared a little bit about how, you send out weekly shout outs that are related to the core values. And I
So
think
let's let's
more they
break
see
that down a
the
little bit,
better.
Adam. Yeah, let's talk about that. Like how does that look? Because when we came out with the other core values, we made a huge mistake,
Hmm.
really big mistake. And the mistake was that, and I guess, and I'll speak for Benji too, but we were kind of naive to the fact of, okay, hey, we've got these core values. Now everybody should just know them.
Right.
Everybody should just live them out. I mean, it's our core values. It's what we do. And what we did was we shared it, yes, with the leadership team, and then we stopped.
Mm.
And so I'm going to share with you guys how we've done that a little bit differently this time. And we've, as you guys are saying, we've already started seeing some of the effect of it. It's still early, right? Because we just really rolled these out. What Benji, 3 months ago,
Yeah,
something like
been
that.
long at all.
But what I'm beginning to hear is in conversations with people that they are using these core values. Well, hey, we didn't pursue excellence with that. Hey guys, we're not winning as a team with this one. And so what we've done is we've taken the core values, and yes, we've done training with our leadership team, but we're actually taking that down to every single person almost individually in the organization. Okay.
Mhm.
And I was in a meeting 2 Fridays ago, and somebody that's been with our organization for about 8 years said, we were in a meeting talking about core values. There's a group of 5 of us, and he said, "This is the way that y'all are doing this is different."
Mhm.
And I was like, "Okay, tell me a little bit more."
You're like, is that good or bad?
Yeah, I'm like,
Oh,
so I said, "Tell me more." He said, "No, this is different because what you guys are doing this time, you're not just pushing it out and expecting everybody to grasp it. Like you're spending time with us and helping us grasp it. And so this is something that we're not going to give up on. This is something that we're going to continue to do." So what we've done is we've really taken the core values and we put it into the life cycle of the employee too. Okay. I think I've told this story, but and I'll tell it again, but one of my mentors, Russell Hayden, who's my C12 chair, when I first met with him, he said, "Hey, do you have core values?" And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely. Who doesn't?" You know, he says, "Well, show them to me." And I was like, well,
I got it
you
right
know,
here.
yeah, I got him right here.
I
So
got it in my mind.
he began to explain that if you don't have core values that are written down and that are trained, and you're not using it in the life cycle of an employee, then you really don't have core values. And I said, "Well, help explain to me like what that looks like. What does that mean?" He said, "Are you talking about it during the interview process?" And I was like, "Nope."
Hmm.
When you have a coaching session, okay, with an employee that you have to coach them on they weren't doing something so good. He said, "Is your coaching form related to your core values?" And I was like, "Nope." When you do your performance reviews every single year, are the performance reviews a reflection of your core values? And I was like, "Nope." So I'm like, "Nope, nope, nope." You know, so all these things. So what we've done this time is we have put those in every single aspect of what we're doing. We're talking to candidates or people that we're interviewing. We're reiterating core values. Adam, you've helped us create some videos that we're sending out to candidates and things of that nature. We're talking about it in coaching sessions. It's being talked about in meetings. It is the annual performance review for an employee. So they really can't get away from it. They can't
Yeah.
hide from it. And we've got, like we said, we've got posters up. I mean, it's even in, I mean, it's, I hate to say it on here, but it's in front of the urinal. Like when
Yeah.
you're, how much a better place can you have it
Front
like
and center.
staring at you?
Staring at a wall. You're staring at it. So
Yeah, that's right. So you're staring at the core values. But once you start doing that, so you can't just, I'd encourage you guys, don't just put them out there and expect your team to learn them by osmosis. You've got to get in, dig in deep, and that's where they're really gonna to see that's where you're gonna see the magic happens. Again, we've quoted Patrick Lencioni on here. He said, "But the health of an organization is the single greatest competitive advantage," and I don't think that we had as good of a culture as we are beginning to get, and I don't think it's all the way there yet either, but we are doing things so much differently this go around, and you learn from what you did before. So that's where we're beginning to see signs of and early signs, right? Early signs of realignment within the organization, because now you've got people rallying around these 7, which they're easy to remember.
Yeah.
So what are you guys seeing on your end?
I see people, Brady, and I hear people. I'm walking around, you hear the division managers doing their meetings, whatever, and employees are starting to like catch on 1 through 7, and they're spitting them out because they're easy. They're 2 to 3 words a piece. They're not hard to remember. I do agree that the recognition that we've done, I think, has taken us to another level. I think that not just the recognition, but the employees are seeing the value and how they can tie back to the core value in any of them, whatever, and they're getting celebrated for it. So I think it's awesome.
yeah, I think it says a lot to, some of the video projects that we're still working on. Like you're talking about, Brady, getting something out to potential candidates, right? Like
Yeah.
you're letting them know from the start, like, hey, before you even apply,
Yeah.
I just want
This is
to
who
know
you're about to step into.
this is what you're about to step into. And I think, especially in today's culture, That's important because, I mean, people knew from the day that they stepped foot into your building to be on your team, like, we honor God. And it's, I mean, even before that was the number one culture, it's always been the number
Yep.
one core value, if that makes sense. Like that, it's always been there. So you knew what you were getting into, So, and I think
Mhm.
that's important because it lets somebody know, hey, we are a faith-based organization. We treat our work this way. And we believe in honoring God in every step we do, whether that's with a customer. We're going to be honest. We're not trying to cut corners. We're not trying to make extra money. Like we believe doing it the right way, God will honor that and he'll honor our business.
Absolutely.
And so
Yeah.
I think that's huge as well for any business owner that's listening, being upfront with that from the start. And here's the thing, your core values are not a secret sauce, right? Like it's to me, there's nothing to hide from it. It's not trying to keep like how we sell jobs or, how we operate behind the scenes. I think your core values, it's something up front and center
Yep.
that people should be able to see and know, hey, this is the company that we choose to be, and these are what we value, not just for our team, but for our customers as well. And I think that says a lot. I think that
Yeah.
helps you, and it's going to find people. It's going to weed out that process, right? Like you're going to find people that are going to say, you know what, that's what I want to be a part of, and
Yep.
that's where I want to be at. And it's going to weed out those that are like, and it's fine if you have somebody who's like, you look, honoring God is not, I don't, it's not my, it's not what I want to do. That's what you want to do. That's fine. But it keeps you from going through that process of training that employee, bringing them on and doing it. And then they're like, well, I don't want to do any of this. Like, hold on,
Yeah.
this is from the
Yeah.
start. This is who we are.
Yeah.
So I think you're just talking about realignment and having those early signs. I think that's very important from the start
Mm.
to share that with anyone, even if they're not on your team yet.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Adam, I would add to that too. I mean, I know you guys see this. This is totally off topic what I'm going to talk about, but it relates back to what the Lord is doing, I think, in not just our country, but in the world. I mean, you look at American Idol. I know you guys may or may not watch American Idol. This is the first season. I think they're in season like 24 or 25 or something.
They're doing like
Um, they're doing an Easter special. Okay,
Like a worship night, right? Or
it's
something.
it's a 3 hour worship night, American Idol. When would you have ever seen that before? I think the younger generation, to your point, what I was getting at, they want to be a part of something like this. They
Mhm.
they really they want to find value. Brady, I think it was Russell did a meeting with us last year at some point, and he talked about the generation curve, like of the different age groups. The baby
Yep.
boomers and the Gen X and Gen Z, whatever.
Yep.
And he said what we're hearing is these new people coming into the marketplace,
Mhm.
they want to find a place to go to work that they can bring value to,
Mhm.
and that they can honestly, they have something to look forward to. That's
Yeah.
what they're wanting.
That's right.
They want to be trained. They want to be shown. And I think if your company can come up with your core values to be able to recruit those people that you want a part of your team, people will do people will buy into your culture. That's
Yeah.
that's the truth. It's with any sports team, it's with any business. They will buy into your culture, and they also buy into vision, whatever the vision of your company is. So
Yeah.
you take these core values, make them your own inside of your business. And again, like we said earlier, reach out, send us a text. You heard some we read today. We'll be glad to get these to you. Just give us an email address. We'll get these to you. But this is important stuff, especially this new generation coming into the work field.
Yeah.
Find a place that they can fit in.
Yeah. And that's something, and it's completely different from and off topic from core values, but that's something we're looking at right now, even in with the church. We're trying to develop our marketing strategy for the church. And I know that sounds funny to say that, like
I get what you're saying.
you're
Yep.
trying to market. Like, yes, one of the things we're going through right now is getting to the point where we are going to do some online marketing, whether that's through pay-per-click ads, whether that's through social media ads. We're talking through that process right now and what it looks like. But what we're looking for is a strategy that people are looking for things. And we're not trying to just market, hey, church is near me or something like
Right.
that. We're trying to market, is there things going on in your life that you're dealing with? Like, are you struggling as a parent? Are you
Yeah.
struggling as a single parent? Are you working through these? Find these here. And that's the type of marketing that's bringing people to the church, is that
Yep.
we're not trying to just say, find a church. We're trying to say, hey, you have specific things in your life that you're dealing with. find that here. And it was just going to what you're talking about. Culturally, people are looking for that. And it's not just what they're doing on the weekends. They're looking for that, what they're doing on the weekdays, which is
That's
what,
right.
what they're 9 to 5 or what, they're working their night job, whatever it is. They're looking for somebody that they're not just experiencing it Sundays or over the weekend. They're experiencing it all the time. And so that's why some of those things are so important to have.
Yeah, that's good. That's good stuff.
Yeah. So,
Well, Adam, you wanna bring it home for us?
yeah. So, all right. So just real quick. So I wrote down a question I have for you guys. So we've got some business owners listening. This is a big episode for someone that's trying to create those values. So what I wrote down is that's this: what would you say to a leader who's listening, who knows their value's not working? That's how I want to bring it home. I want y'all to tell us today, they're sitting listening like, all right, our values are not working. Our people are not buying into it. If they were to sit down in front of you for coffee and say, Benji, Brady, they're not working, what do I do? How would you help that?
I'll start now, because Brady can probably bring this part home.
Yeah.
I think that the hardest thing for an owner or a leader to do is admit that their values are not working. That's the
good.
hardest thing. I mean, Brady and I have been in the same seat.
That's good.
It was very difficult for us to admit that our 22, he mentioned, core values were we just thought they were something that was a part of our family DNA, whatever. And we had to come to the realization it's just not working.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the hardest thing. The second hardest thing is to sit down in front of someone else and let them know that it's not working.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then once you're able to get that across the finish line, the last thing, and then I'll let Brady take it from here, I think it's the hardest thing to re-implement those values, because it's easy to come up with them, but it's hard to restart the process again, because some people think, am I going to fail if this doesn't work again? Is it not going to be the best? Whatever those things could be. So that's what I'd like to point out to this is, it's one, hard to admit that your values don't work. Second, it's hard to sit in front of someone else. And third, it's hard to restart it. But I can promise you, leader out there listening, if you can do that, what Brady's going to talk about will work.
Pride and humility is what it sounds like you're saying. That's
exactly right.
Yeah, it's a huge part of being a business.
It's hard to admit that you're wrong sometimes, or all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, what I would say, Adam, is, and I think we really saw this come to light, but if your core values are not working, then you got to go back and look internally. You got to kind of peel the onion,
Yep.
and see what's inside. But go back to the core, and if your values are not driving behavior, they're just noise.
Yeah,
it's just noise that's hanging out there. So I think we've given you guys a lot to think about today, or in last episode and in this episode. But what the core values have to be, if they're going to be effective, is if they have to be a living, breathing document. It can't just be something that you talk about in a meeting or just put up on a wall. It's got to be living, breathing document. And so you're having to live them. Like Benji and I have to live them first. Like our people are not going to live them unless we live them. So I want to leave you guys with two quotes, and I have no idea who actually said these quotes, but I was like, wow, these are really good.
Tomb of the unknown, Brady.
The tomb of the unknown.
The unknown.
One is, culture is alive. It either grows or it decays, and you can't drift into excellence.
Oh, that's good.
That's good.
You don't drift into excellence. It's like on purpose. That's why relentless execution is one of ours, because you can't just meander into excellence. It's something that you have to do. And then culture isn't built in a meeting. And listen, you guys know I love a good meeting.
Death by meeting.
I love a good meeting. Death by meeting. It's a good book, by the way. Patrick Lucioni. But culture isn't built in a meeting. It's built in moments. And so it's the moments that we live out every single day. And listen, one of the hardest things for a leader, and we actually had this as a part of I don't think we put it in the new one, but it's just kind of one of those things that's a master assumption, if you will. But as a leader, more is caught than taught.
Yep.
Okay, so people are looking at us like, okay, I want to see how these core values are living out. How are they living them out? And if they're not living them out, then why should I live them out? And that's tough because it's hard, it's difficult, it's challenging to do that on a day-to-day basis. But you have to put that in and keep them in front of you and do your best. Do your best to live those out on a daily basis. Not going to mean you're going to be perfect at it, but at least you're trying. So
Yeah. That's good.
No, that's good. And I want to tell you guys this too. You know, we talk about, obviously, number one is honor God. We want to let you listeners know that we have a prayer time once a month. It's at 12 o'clock, third Thursday of the month. We're going to be streaming this. Adam and I talked about it a few weeks ago. We're going to be streaming it once a month on our YouTube channel. Feel free to dial in if you have a request. I mean, we're in 87 countries or 88 countries across the world now. Look, it doesn't matter. Dial in and we'll make the request anonymous. We'll pray over them. We'd love the opportunity to do that with you. And that's the whole reason behind Higher Up. You know, again, you can, you guys can connect with us on any social channels we have out there, but we hope these core values have kind of brought home. Maybe it sparked a moment in your life where you're like, I need to re-energize this, as Brady and Adam were talking about. But we'd love the opportunity again to pray with you on that call. It's also on our LinkedIn. You'll see it on there as well. Higher Up Podcast, but you can connect with us. But look, we just appreciate all of you listening in every single week. We appreciate the feedback that you give us, the ideas that you give us. And with that being said, go out and choose to live a higher up life. See you next time.